standing on the red carpet with makeup artist extraordinaire Bill Corso, Dennis Liddiard, nominated for an Academy Award for the movie FOXCATCHER.
Yes.
Talk to me. First of all, congratulations.
Thank you.
Makeup is everything. This is still a fairly new category for the Oscars.
It's been around for a decade or two, but yeah. I mean,
okay.
It is. It's recently become a branch, which is very exciting.
Okay, and this is a third nomination for you. This would be your third Oscar.
It could be my second Oscar.
Your second, okay.
Yeah.
All right,
Great.
so talk to me a little bit about the whole process. Like, how does a makeup artist prepare for the FOXCATCHER?
I don't know how anybody prepares for FOXCATCHER.
Very little sleep.
Yes. You know, it's rare being given the opportunity to take actors, well-known actors, and to do makeups that are really going to alter their persona and their look, and utterly realistically. You know, it's great to hide behind a fantasy or a comedy. We love that.
Okay.
But we had none of that to hide behind, and you know, and we're being put on display. You know, a very big close-up display for the world to see, and you know, there's no filter there. So that's a huge challenge.
Well, you guys did an amazing job. Dennis, what was your favorite part about the process?
Working with Bill was terrific.
Okay.
It was really fun to collaborate with him and to be able to bounce ideas off of each other and see things the same way. But probably at the end of the day, when the actors sit in the chair, I mean, they don't like to sit in the chair for hours at a time.
Wow.
But when they...
How long was the process? I'm sorry.
Well, for Channing and Mark, for Steve, it took Bill about 2.5 hours.
Okay.
And then I typically would have to do Channing and Mark in about that same amount of time. So they were about 2 hours, 15 minutes, 2.5, you know, or to do both, 2.5 hours to do both guys.
A lot going on there. Yeah.
They were about 1 hour 15 each.
Okay.
So depending if I had to cover his tattoos, and it was longer, but that type of thing. But at the end of the day, when your actor turns to you and says, "This is so great," when I start, because they're playing guys that they aren't.
Right.
Channing is not the guy he plays in the movie. Steve is not the person he plays in the movie.
I mean, everything about the movie is amazing.
So when they do it and they're able to turn to you and say, when I start to lose the character, I just go look in the mirror for a couple minutes and it comes right back.
Okay.
That's the most rewarding thing.
Okay.
Yeah, very gratifying.
Bill, let me ask you this. You've been in the business for quite some time. Why hair and makeup? Like, how did you get started in hair and makeup? I mean, there are so many aspects of this business. You know, actor, writer, producer, publicist.
With a face like that, he should have been in front of the camera.
I'm like, wow.
You know, I was an artist. You know, I was 4 or 5 years old drawing, and I would always draw faces. And I loved movies. I loved monster movies.
Oh wow.
And I loved, like, you know, Frankenstein, and Abbott and Costello Meet Frankenstein, and Dracula, and I just started doing makeups on myself because I just liked it. I thought it was such a cool thing. You know, at that age, you have no idea that that's a real thing.
Right.
It was my father, who's, you know, a plumber, who started noticing that I was doing this, and we would find magazines, and there would be magazines about this stuff, and they would interview makeup artists, and he said, you know, this is a really cool thing that you could do. Okay. And if you don't have to be a plumber, that would be great. So I just, you know, it was inspiration and encouragement from the family. You know. So
when you first got your official key makeup artist job on a film, what was that moment like for you?
Oh my God, it's a lot of responsibility, and it's a great sense of accomplishment. I mean, I've been in the business for a long time, working for other people, and I've had the gratification of knowing that my work was seen by a lot of people and liked by a lot of people, and somebody else got the credit. So it is definitely a really cool thing to have your name be the one that gets recognized, for
Absolutely.
sure.
What about you, Dennis? How did you come to be a makeup artist?
That's an excellent question.
My path was a little different. I have a father hiding over here.
Where's that?
He's over there somewhere. Who spent 40 years in the business as a makeup artist. So I grew up around it and was able to follow along in his footsteps.
Quite legendary. Yeah, very exciting.
So what's next for you two?
Oh gosh, we're both going off to different parts of the world. You know, I'm going to Canada to do a new Marvel superhero movie.
Okay.
Dennis is going off.
Going to be in a few places around the world doing a picture called Arms and the Dudes, based on a true story. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, let me ask you one last question, both of you I want to answer. In terms of someone just getting started in this business who wants to do hair and makeup, because you know sometimes people think there's a shortcut.
Yeah.
What's the best way to get started? What's the best way for them to get that hands-on experience?
You know what? You just got to do the work. You got to do the work on anybody you can, and you photograph it, and then you look at it, and you show it to people, and then you do it again. And the more times you do something, the better you get, and you observe. I mean, I used to just copy people's work, and I would just base my work judged on what other people did, and I just did it over and over and over again, and I would show it to everybody, and sooner than later somebody goes, well, that's actually pretty good.
Being persistent.
Yeah.
Nowadays, different than when we started, there's so many tutorials online. You can go online and learn a lot.
Yeah.
And so I would say just
Take advantage.
watch something and then try and do it. Because nothing drives me crazy when somebody comes up to me and says, hey, how do you do this? And I say, well, have you tried it? And they say no.
Oh, wow.
I can't teach you something unless you've tried it and failed.
Okay.
If you failed, then you know what questions to ask. What went wrong?
Right.
What went right?
And honestly, doing something wrong is the best way to learn.
Best way to learn.
Well, I think so many people are afraid of failure, and they don't know that failure is what's going to make you successful.
We fail at the beginning of every movie. That's why we do tests. And then we change it, and then we do it again, and then it gets changed again until we get it right.
If you knew and if you counted the micro failures that happen throughout a day.
Oh, yeah.
I can only imagine.
Yeah, and with that being said, we're still here.
Yeah.
So and that's at a very high level. So it's absolutely wonderful to make mistakes and to keep trying.
Absolutely.
Well, gentlemen, thank you so much for your time. Bill Corso, Dennis Liddiard, nominated for an Academy Award for the movie Foxcatcher for hair and makeup.